Welcome to our watch party.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Alexa. Alexa's misbehaving tonight. I'm Lori Turchin. I'm your film curator. And tonight we have Lathan Tedford as our director of tonight's film and Hemler Mauricette as the subject. Terry, you want to tell us more about the film?
Sure. And I'm Terry Olson with Fusionfest, and this MYgration film program is one where our filmmakers get a challenge to be randomly paired with a subject and then have 5 days to make a film about that person, about where they come from, what their heritage is, and how they fit in Central Florida. So we're going to see one of those tonight, and then we'll talk to our filmmaker and our subject both.
Hey, also, we are now accepting submissions, applications for this year's Fusion Fest Migration Film Contest. That's fusionfest.org/film. If you're a filmmaker, click on filmmaker. And if you're someone that wants to share your story, click on share your story. Tally, you want to go ahead and show the movie?
I am Hemler Mauricette, multidimensional visual artist. I was born in Haiti, specifically in Leogane. I started with drawing on my earliest age. When I was in school, people were asking me to draw for them all the time. And for gratification, I keep on going because I realized that through my art, it makes people happy. And I like to see others happy. In 2004, I participated in one of our national art contests. While we were having that event, I've met so many great Haitian painters. And through that, I realized art is something that I can use to speak for myself in my culture, specifically for my people, to display to the rest of the world the intrinsic beauty of Haiti, of my beloved country. In 2010, I was a survivor of the devastating earthquake that occurred in Haiti. After that, the country was devastating. I went to DR, spent a couple years, share my culture, my heritage, and after that, went to Mexico to an international exhibition to represent my flag with pride and honor. And after that, I decided to immigrate to the US in 2012 because I was looking for a safe place to continue working. After a couple years, I moved to Central Florida. And since then, I fall in love with Central because there's so many similarities to back home, specifically our beautiful weather and the diversity that we have here as an artist inspire me so that I can be myself, express myself, and learn from others. I am creating these paintings, one painting in three canvas, just to show how I am appreciative, how I am grateful for the US hospitality. Now I can say proudly, US, specifically Central Florida, it's my second home. My goal and interest are creating a legacy. Leave to this physical world some part of me that will never die. Most interestingly, I want to make as many apprentices that I can so that I can transfer my knowledge, my skill, my techniques. I know by doing that, it will keep me alive for generations to come.
Wow, every time I see that film, it blows me away. Wow. If you guys want to unmute so we can talk.
Hemler, you're used to being the person that's applying the paint and making the picture. In this, you were the paint and the color that was being applied to this film. How did that feel?
It felt really great, and it was an honor for me to work with Nathan. He's a great producer, videographer. Like, I don't know how to paint it like in the best way. It was such a great opportunity for me. It was like all great vibe, positive things, and you see what we came up with, not a great movie. Yeah, I'm amazed. It was
Lathan, you were fairly new at the world of filmmaking when you did this film, yes?
Yeah,
yes.
I was like a year. I think I was like a year into Full Sail in the film and television program, and at that point, I didn't take a class into documentary filmmaking yet. So this was like my first documentary I ever created. I don't think I've ever, even on my own spare time when I was making films, like or just to make films on my YouTube channel, I never made like a documentary before. And it's funny because like whenever I went to the documentary class, I went to some of the students and be like, "Oh, guess what? I'm actually experienced in making a documentary." And I'm just like, I'm kind of like, it's definitely like a bragging some of the thing, but it's like, but I am definitely proud of what I've made for the Fusion Festival for sure.
Well, I'm waiting to see your application in my email for this year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
any other film students you can drag along with you that want to do a film.
yeah, I made several like stuff for college and all that. I'm maybe planning on making like a full compilation video on YouTube of like college short films that Lathan Tedford's created.
Are you still at Full Sail?
Yeah, I'm graduating sometime in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Had you known anyone of Haitian descent before making this film?
Not that I know of. I believe I think Hemler is probably the first person I met that's Haitian descent. And that's pretty cool.
What did you learn about his culture after spending a weekend with him?
One thing I definitely learned is that there was some fantastic food. I can definitely say that for sure. I enjoyed the restaurant he took me that I used to shoot for the film, and I enjoyed the cuisine that his wife made at home. It was fantastic, definitely.
And
how has your art career been going?
I was just going to ask that question.
It's growing like so great. Actually, I just switched to like a new chapter, which is like tattooing. I add tattoo
Oh, I saw you doing that on Facebook.
yes, I tattoo now, but it's just like something that I would be doing like for friends and family, but it's pretty much good. I have like a great project that I'm working on, and it's like one of my biggest exhibition that's coming up for 2000 like February or March 2023. It will be at City Art Factory, downtown Orlando.
If I wanted to go see some of your work out in Central Florida now, where would I go?
You can still go to Bones Kingdom and come to my studio and all of that. I would probably advise like everyone to go to my website,
which is
HemlerMauricette.com. My full name.
How did you ever come up with that, Hemler? Let me ask you. I was thinking before we started tonight that sometimes I think as artistic people, we the openness to accept each other during this project in particular is, I think, more the exception than the rule in today's environment. And I just wanted to know, in the other parts of your life where they don't know that you're an artist and how amazing you are, do they treat you any different, Hemler? Does I'm just curious because again, among us, it's an artistic community. We're
Yes.
very liberal, forward-thinking people. So I just love you. You were a
Yes.
Capricorn, right? Isn't that why?
Yes, December people. Yes, to answer to your question, is just like, me, I just cut my expectation down. Instead of like waiting to see how people treat me, I go ahead and treat you well. Because I believe strongly in karma, because I know like, we are all human beings. We behave like kids. Kids, baby, they're learning by mimic. They're just watching us and they're trying to imitate us. That's even growing up. Some people you need to show them how to do things. Me, what I do, I just go ahead and treat everybody with respect and love, kindness. Because at the end of the day, even like when I go somewhere, I don't portray myself, say that I'm an artist. I just like let my human side, my kindness, like bright, show, brighter, like sense like, to show them, hey, we still have positive people, we still have like great energy, and inclusion, accept like people from different ethnic group, from whatever like aspect in life, because at the end of the day, we are like, one family though.
Indeed. Now, where are you from originally, Lathan?
I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, so do you think, having lived in Tulsa, that you would have ever met someone like Hemler, if you hadn't done this experience?
Um, I wouldn't know the likelihood of that, but maybe if there was like a festival celebrating diversity in Oklahoma, maybe there could have been a possibility. Yeah.
You mean a festival like Fusionfest? Did you? I just volleyed that one over the net, dude. Thank you. Uh, um, so let me ask you this, Hemler. I'll start with you.
Hmm.
Well, you can answer first. My job as the curator is to prep the people who are going to share their story, because you guys don't meet till the Friday night before you spend the weekend together filming. Um, I don't think you can ever really explain to someone what they're about to experience. What was your experience? Is it something that you would recommend? And why aren't you sending people to me? I'm running out of time.
No, definitely, because I trust you. First of all, I trust like I know the staff, the Fusion Fest. I know you guys like are serious people and positive, and like it's kind of like hit me more than what I was expecting, because Nathan is a great producer, and you can see what pen we come out with, like talking about the movie. It was a good experience, but we had to improvise. I realized though it was kind of like, that's why you see how we come out naturally, because it was all improvisation. We didn't really have like a long period of time to kind of like do everything like we usually do for the other movies. But that was a great experience though. It just showed like how proficient Ethan is like on what he's doing though.
And Lathan, what was the experience like for you? I asked you earlier, you were a novice filmmaker. What did you take away from the experience? Was there anything in particular that you learned,
Well,
either personally or as a filmmaker?
as a filmmaker, it's best to, I think, through my experience, making other documentaries for classes, there's probably some things I could have done, differently. I think like maybe it's because of like the equipment, I didn't really have much of an equipment and all that. And also, I didn't really, it was mostly me working on it. I did get help from like, Hemler, of course, and his wife, who sent like some of the footage and still images, which is why I credit her as director of photography. I think it's that, but the inclusion of that, and also because in the last 2 days of like working on the film, is when class kind of opened up, assignments started opening up. It's I enjoyed working on the documentary for sure, and I'm glad I participated in it, but it's just slightly difficult.
Challenging.
Yeah.
I have a for Hemler. You mentioned the earthquake, and I didn't quite catch how that affected you. You said it was a kind of a turning point. Can you tell us a bit more about that earthquake?
Yeah. It's something that like I had to go to therapy for, because I couldn't. I have still PTSD about that topic. I was in my home in 2010 when the earthquake hit Haiti, like a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, and it was like a terror movie. It's like not all of us really known about earthquake like that, because it wasn't something that hit Haiti as usual, and it was like by surprise, and it's affect me psychologically a lot, because even after like a couple years down, I was still shocking. Like for instance, I was very sensitive to motion. Whatever, like if I'm in a car or somewhere and the house shake for some reason, or in my mind, I after 2 3 months I left Haiti after the earthquake. We went to DR. I couldn't live well because every time I have to go pass by like a like a tall building, all I'm thinking about is just it gonna fall over, or like the earthquake gonna, just hit something and we all die, because that day it was just like I said before, a dramatic movie, and it's not something that I would wish on anybody to experience.
So
Because
buildings
it's
collapsing all around you.
what's that?
So buildings were collapsing all around you.
Oh, actually, I was in a building that collapsed with us. I just like survived by probably, thanks God, by chance. And the from nanosecond when I'm running out of the building and it's collapsing with us.
Wow.
We had two people that died, passed away, like, in that house. Several get hit. And when you step out, like you on the street, it's just, dead body all over, because like Haiti, the way we build, not everywhere we have structure like that. It was something like,
Now
unconceivable.
you said you went to Mexico from there. Why did you go from Mexico to the United States? What made that transition?
The transition was like I was looking for a safe place to continue working, sharing like my beloved country to the rest of the world, because like the taboo and myth that's going around, like um um I wanna show to the rest of the world, but like most likely the way they talk about Haiti on the TVs, on the radio, is not what it is like fully about. We have, so much positive thing to offer to the rest of the world. We have such a great culture. We are good people, lovable, like, we have great hospitality, good food, and
Well, if
the
they're anything
nature.
like
But
you, Hemler, I'm going.
yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here, Hemler.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
very
Like
much
just
so.
to give you guys a little, to walk you through a little, like the reason why I'm here. After I went to DR, I had an invitation to go to Mexico twice to represent Haiti. After that, since I had to go back to DR again, and things wasn't really like the
I'm sorry,
way.
Hemler. For those of you that don't know, DR is Dominican Republic.
Yes,
Continue.
Dominican Republic. And since then, I immigrate from Mexico to US because this is where, like, I have more people and that I relate to. And actually, when I, you know, linked to Central Florida, and there's so much similarities, the weather and everything, I fall in love and I make Central Florida like my second home.
Now let's give a little plug for the restaurant where y'all filmed. Where was that? What was it called?
It's Justin Fusion Caribbean restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the restaurant that, like, that's keep it a little bit typical. When you go there, you can experience like Haiti without leaving.
So what's your favorite Haitian dish? Like tell me like what like
Jury ce soir légumes.
did he just cuss at me? What did you say?
No,
I heard
du,
legume, which means
jury is the rice.
rice.
Ce
Julie.
soir is just like the beans. The way we prepare the beans is like we blend it. It's just like more liquid. With legume, legume is like a cooked vegetable. You
Right.
can eat it with maize, corn, or something else. I like vegetable the way they prepare it. It's a mixture. They put meat on it. It's like purely Haitian, purely Creole.
So when are we coming over for dinner?
Whenever you guys want to, paint and dinner.
So Lathan, where are you going after Full Sail? Are you going back to Tulsa, or as being in Orlando change your perspective on the world at all? I teach at Full Sail, and we do have, I tell people when we used to have a large campus presence, just walk through the parking lot. It's like walking through a map of the United States. What do you think of the time you've spent here, as compared to growing up in, say, Tulsa, Oklahoma?
It's very interesting. I'm not really, even I'm not really too familiar with like a lot of the locations like I am with Tulsa, but I'm not really much of a driver anyway. But but yeah, there's some nice places. I've been to like several like nature trails for like filming for someone else's film and all that, and yeah, there's some I found some nice top notch restaurants. Like the one in the film, and yeah, and I met some nice people in Florida. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have to say, and I think we have Mr. Olson to thank quite a bit, because I moved here 32 years ago, and 30 years ago, you started working as the arts and culture czar. Yes, Terry?
20 years.
20? Oh, 20. Okay. Regardless, I have seen a I mean, I was so starved for culture. I came from New York and then from LA, just culture out out the yin yang. And, then I showed up in Orlando in 1990, the day Universal Studios opened. And wow, have I seen it grown. I mean, and I think Terry has a lot to do with that. And yeah, that's all I was going to say.
Well, 40 years ago, the day that Epcot Center opened.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
That's great.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Thanks for participating in the MYgration films. And I know, Lori, we have a whole month before the deadline. We'll get plenty of people applying.
Okay.
Encouraging people to tell their story and people to sign up to be filmmakers.
Yes, by all means. Spread the word, y'all, okay? Hemler?
Yes, for sure. We
Lathan?
do.
You have fellow students.
I'll definitely be talking about Fusionfest.
Thank you, guys. Have a
All
great
right.
night.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Hemler.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori.